Good morning, Zimbabwe, and welcome to On the Spot News right here on Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne Muchaka. Let us take a look at the news making the headlines. Zim sets sight on UN security. May's prize worries MPs. Court dismisses Mpoko's application in Chopi's dispute, and in sport, Pure Platinum play set for 4 in a row. And now for the news in detail. Zimbabwe has presented its candidacy for an African rotational slot as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for 2027 to 2028 and now awaits the authorization of the African Union Executive Council during its next session in February next year. The pending validation of the AU Executive Council is likely since the same body elected Zimbabwe into the 15-member AU Peace and Security Council during its 40th ordinary session held in Ethiopia in February this year. President Emmerson Mnangagwa's administration has intensified its clampdown on labor unions after Zimbabwe Professional Nurses Union President Robert Chiduku was summoned to appear before a disciplinary hearing on August 5 for allegedly taking part in a strike in May. Civil servants, including nurses, have been pressing for United States dollar salaries. The May health workers' strike brought the health sector to a halt. Chiduku's hearing comes after Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe President Obert Masaraure has been jailed for demanding the release of his colleague Robson Chere, who was arrested for the same murder he was arrested for. In a letter addressed to him, the Health and Childcare Ministry summoned Chiduku for a hearing on August 5 for issuing derogatory statements in the press, including social media posts attacking senior government officials and bringing the health sector into disrepute. Government says it has set aside mining concession in 8 of the country's 10 provinces for the youth. During a post-cabinet media briefing yesterday, Information Minister Monica Mchangwa said government had agreed to reserve mines for prospecting and pegging of areas in the 8 provinces. Cabinet also approved the Memorandum of Understanding between government and the African Diaspora Development Institute, which will fund the development of a gold mining center in Pondorosa village, Mashonaland West Province. Information Minister said Section 20 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe says that the state and its institutions and agencies at every level must take reasonable measures, including affirmative action, to ensure that youth are afforded opportunities for employment and other avenues to economic empowerment. Legislators have called on government to consider paying maize farmers in foreign currency. Speaking in Parliament, Hurungwe East legislator Takunda Masenda said it was important for government to ensure that maize farmers got a real deal because they were committing themselves to feeding the nation. Zimbabwe's crop marketing season has begun, and as in many years before, the issue of what government through the Grain Marketing Board will pay farmers have returned to the spotlight. Most of farmers' concerns stem out of the erosion of the domestic currency, which has been hit by high inflation and exchange rate fragilities. Masenda said the viability of farming as a business was being affected by challenges being faced by farmers in accessing cheaper foreign currency from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's foreign currency auction system. Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe Governor John Mangudya said Zimbabweans should not expect more shock therapy statements when he presents his mid-term monetary policy statement. Mangudya is expected to present his statement soon. Zimbabweans have been subjected to shock announcements before as government desperately stitches together plans to arrest economic decline. In May, government suspended bank lending to ostensibly dissuade speculation against the Zimbabwe dollar, a decree that was later reversed after an outcry. In late June, the RBZ also shook the market by hiking interest rates from 80% to 200% in a bid to deter speculative borrowing, which was viewed as fueling exchange rates volatility. Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube announced a supplementary budget last week as inflation raised to 256.9%, up from 191.6% in June. In yet another attempt to save the free-falling local currency, the RBZ also introduced the Mosua Junior gold coins to mop up excess liquidity and present the market with a store of value. Manguja also claimed that parallel market rates had tumbled as a result of the gold coins and predicted a further slide. The state yesterday dismissed an application for discharge by Zimbabwe Miners Federation ZMF President Henrietta Rushwaya in a case where she faces charges of gold smuggling. Rushwaya was nabbed at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport in 2020 in possession of 6 kgs of gold worth 365,000, which she allegedly intended to smuggle out of the country. The ZMF president, who is represented by Peter Patisani, yesterday denied charges that she attempted to bribe airport security personnel after she was nabbed. Rushwaya also dismissed state allegations of trying to smuggle gold, claiming, as the ZMF president, she knew what was required when exporting gold. She further said the arrest was intended to embarrass her, claiming Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe officials refused to entertain her explanations. ZANU-PF national spokesperson Chris Mutsvangwa has sprung to the defense of top ZANU-PF officials accused of child sex abuse, rape and infidelity, saying the alleged sleaze was a ploy by the opposition to destabilize the ruling party. Australian-based socialist Suzanne Mutami hogged social media limelight, name-dropping senior ZANU-PF members, including President Emmerson Mnangagwa, ex-State Security Minister Owen Muda Ncube, and late Foreign Affairs Minister Sibusiso Moyo, alleging she had sex with them. More sensationally, Mutami accused Mnangagwa of having raped her when she was a minor, adding she had filed a report with police in Australia. The Bulawayo High Court has dismissed an application by former Vice President Pelekezela Mpoko and his son Siko Kogela, who took Choppy's Enterprises to court over 51% shareholding that they claim ownership of. The Mpokos, represented by their lawyer Sibusiso Ncube, had sued Nanovac Investment Private Limited, Choppy's Enterprise and Choppy's Distribution Center Proprietary Limited in Gaborone, Botswana, demanding payment for the 51% shares. On July 28, Bulawayo High Court Judge Justice Martin Makonesa dismissed their application for lack of clarity. For these and other news stories, please visit our website on www.zimdaily.com, or you can check out our social media platforms on Facebook, on Twitter, and YouTube. Join us after this short break as we continue with our news bulletin. A Kwekwe resident magistrate was yesterday jailed for an effective 15 months and a clerk of court an effective 9 months for criminal abuse of office after fraudulently releasing an impounded vehicle. Story Rushambwa 50, who has been Kwekwe resident magistrate for the last 5 years, was given 30 months with 15 months suspended, while clerk of court Bright Mpiabo 47 was given 15 months with 6 months suspended. The two had pleaded not guilty to charges of criminal abuse of office as public officers, but Regional Magistrate Mr. Taurai Manwere, sitting in the Midlands Anti-Corruption Court in Gweru, convicted them. In October 2019, a Toyota Hilux vehicle was impounded by the police anti-corruption unit as an exhibit after it was fraudulently imported and held at the Zimra Kwekwe offices for customs management and as an exhibit in the trial at the Layo Magistrate Court. Rushambwa and Mpiabo planned to release the vehicle after John Maprazi applied for this on December 2019. Mpiabo withheld the record relating to the application and on December 31, 2019 submitted it to Rushambwa, who was on leave. Rushambwa went on to grant a final order for the release of the vehicle Tumaprazi, who was represented by Shepherd Tundia, who is not a legal practitioner. Mpiabo handed over the order to Tundia. The state was, however, prejudiced of revenue in the form of customs duty and possible loss of the state case at the Bulawayo trial, since the vehicle was an exhibit. A Harare gang of housebreakers and a single burglar in Victoria Falls have been arrested on allegations of breaking into a total of 25 houses in separate incidents, stealing cash, electrical appliances, and groceries. Police in Southampton, Harare have broken up a gang, arresting Tatenda Marodza, Itai Tembo, and Richard Jenner for a spate of theft in the Granary and Rideau Ridge areas. The three are facing 17 cases of unlawful entry into premises between March and May this year. The gang would forcibly open locked doors to gain entry into homes and then steal household goods, including electrical appliances. And now we turn over to entertainment news. A celebratory mood characterized Chitungi's Aquatic Complex as parents and their children graced gospel musician Kum Pastor Daisy Mukariri's 9th album launch. A pastor at Emmanuel Fellowship Ministries, Mukari launched their 9th album titled Celebrity at a 2-in-1 event that included the Bright Daisies, Christian Institute Talent and Family Show. Prominent music producers Leighton Golomi and Gibson Makumbe collaborated in coming up with the best on this album. The formidable duo was also part of the solo performance, belting out hit songs Nyasha, Dinjere. I'll take that again. The formidable duo was also part of the band that bagged Mukariri alongside Ngolomi's wife Bethany and bassist Brighton Ngolomi. Mukariri also gave the toast of the day in his solo performance, belting out songs Nyasha, Dinjere, and Fugama Unamate. Hakireni stars from frontman Obed Chari warmed the stage for Mukariri through a soul-searching and spirit-filled performance. He, however, could not perform their duet with the Mukariri titled Kurumi Zakupindura because he had to rush for another commitment. And now we take a look at sports news. National broadcaster ZBC has secured rights to broadcast the English Premier League on ZBC TV. One EPL match will be broadcast every weekend, with the first match being broadcast this Saturday. And the combination of a vastly improved conversion rate this season and a watertight defense has thrust FC Platinum in firm control of the Premier Super League PSL title race. The Platinum Miners are the league's past masters and always claim a larger chunk of possession against their opponents, but it is their harassing and harrying of the opposition when they are without the ball that has been impressive this season. With only 7 goals having been conceded in 23 matches so far, their numbers are impressive as they have scored 35 goals, which is the highest in the league so far. The goal difference, 28, is also healthy. It could count as an extra point if anyone does catch up with them, which is unlikely. Norman Mapesa's side have been getting stronger and better with each game after a slow start. They've hit the gears where they have dropped just 2 points in the last 10 matches without conceding a single goal in the process. 8 points separate them from their nearest rivals, but it is hard to imagine them surrendering the top spot. Goalkeeper Wallace Magalani has been exceptional since getting the number 1 jersey following Petro Maris' injury. And sports news brings us to the end of our bulletin. We'll read the main news headlines once again. Zim sets sight on UN Security Council seat. State opposes Rushwaya's application for discharge. Government reserves mines for youths. Maize price worries MPs. Court dismisses Mpoko's application in Chopi's dispute. And in sports, Pure Platinum Play set for 4 in a row. Thank you so much for tuning in to our news bulletin right here on Zimbabwe Daily. Have a pleasant rest of day. It's bye-bye for now.